broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to another Parks and Rec After Show. We are talking about episodes 10 and 11 of Season 7 tonight. And if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. It's youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can also find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. We love reading your comments and talking to you throughout the week. And you can also tweet us on Twitter using the hashtag ABTV, Parks and Rec. And you can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's. I'm your host, Katie Campbell. And joined in the studio tonight by 3 lovely co-hosts. To my left, Lexie Hammesfahr.
Hey guys, I'm Lexie, and you can find me on Twitter at Lexie Hammesfahr.
And across the table, we have Salaun and Quinn Scillian.
Hey. Yes, Salaun here. You can find me at Salaun, Salaun.
And I'm Quinn Scillian. You can find me at Quinn Scillian. Hi, guys.
Yay! So tweet us. Tell us what you thought about tonight's episodes, and we're going to dive in right now. So episode 10 was called Johnny Karate's Super Awesome Musical Explosion Show. What a title.
Different format for the show.
Yeah. Different format. It was interesting.
It was like Johnny Karate took over the network for 30 minutes.
Yeah, don't you kind of feel like this was the Parks and Rec version of a musical episode of Buffy's musical episode or whatever?
Yeah.
It's kind of like their kind of attempt at that kind of let's just pull this one out of the hat for old time's sake.
I never expected them to do something like this. I mean, we had commercials and everything.
Right, and I thought at some point it would flash back to reality or their real lives. And we didn't even get intro credits. You know, the intro credits were for the Johnny Karate show.
And it was everyone in character. It was like Andy Dwyer, Leslie Knope.
I love that little song in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's great. It shows how they just don't take themselves that seriously. Because the names in the opening title was just the character names. It's like whatever. Like we know who everybody is by this point. Like we can just have fun for now.
Yeah, it had a very sketch or Saturday Night Live feel, with the fake commercials and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And touching what you said, Lauren, about no real moments, I thought we might have had one near the end with the whole April and Andy talk, but then it ended up being 0.5, which was Be Nice to Someone, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
But with the beginning of the show, we see Johnny Karate, he's talking about his last show. Perd Hapley is the host, because he's the host of everything. He's a judge, he's a host, anyways. Burt Macklin has this thing where Johnny Karate's guitar was stolen. So of course we get Burt Macklin back in the studio, and
to solve the crime of who stole because they needed the guitar to sing the opening song or something like that.
Yeah,
I loved how whenever it switched over to Burt Macklin, everything went black and white and super serious.
And it's like got that parlor music in the background and those film noir type feeling.
And we had Donna as the police chief, and then he talks about moving to Washington. In a few weeks, he's going to be moving to Washington. And he talks about April, his wife, brings her on so she can have an animal hour, which I thought was perfect because I've been wanting her to do something with the Humane Society.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's a nice reminder that's like animals are a passion of hers, and we got to see that again tonight. That was cool.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a spider.
Not really Humane Society.
Yeah. Not even a spider. It was a
tarantula.
Goliath bird-eating tarantula.
And those are real spiders. I mean, and they're like this big in real life. They eat real birds.
No me gusta.
Nuts.
No,
Freaks me out, spiders.
Yeah. The worst part of it was that it was lost somewhere in the studio because Andy was playing hide and seek.
Yeah, did you guys think that maybe at the end of the episode we were going to see it crawling on something? We never saw it again.
No, I thought it was going to be on Andy's back.
It was on the water drop thing with John Cena.
Yeah.
Guys, help me.
Oh, I thought he was
so
scared
strong.
about getting dumped.
No.
It was because the spider was
crawling on the rim.
Yeah.
He's so strong. He's this wrestler, and then he's scared and terrified of the spider.
Yeah.
Can you blame him?
I would be too, though. So the 5 karate moves to success, he goes through a list of 5 things, and we get to see everybody guest appear on the show, all of the main characters of Parks and Rec.
They're all such good sports about it.
I love it. The first one was Make Something with Carpenter Ron. I loved that. He was making a shadow box frame.
Yeah.
He never even made it.
They didn't show us.
I know. Those
No, they did. We did see it at the end.
At the end, but they didn't show the actual process.
Which we usually see Ron do, and he loves to teach about how to make these things. Like he made the wedding rings for Leslie and Ben. And then number 2 was learn something with Professor Smart Brain.
Ben.
I just
per usual
love Ben always trying to explain something like this. And Andy was just shutting him down.
Yeah, he's got the boring buzzer that he keeps pressing on him.
And Ben's like, I'm doing you a favor. You asked me to come on here. Bzzz. He's just like, what do you want
And Andy's
from me?
like, let's just teleport to DC.
Yeah,
Right.
he's like, because they're doing something, about physics and travel and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the faster way? Plane, walking, driving, and
Ben's
teleportation.
Ben's like, well, no, you can't actually teleport because it doesn't really work. And then he's
like, it's impossible. And then Andy takes this moment to talk to the kids and teach them a little lesson. He goes, kids, nothing's impossible. And he's like, wait, but no, really, actually, teleporting is impossible.
I know. Andy has all of the good intentions, but none of the smarts to back it up.
Yes, that's true.
For a second, because they're in the future, I kind of thought that maybe they'd have some teleporting thing or something. Which I'm like, come on, teleporting.
Grizzle came up with it.
Let's do it.
Did you see the kids' faces, though? I love the kids' faces when they were talking about teleportation because they were all like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, what if?
Like a little too interested in the wrong aspect of this learning.
Yeah.
The third karate move to success was with Mailman Barry karate chopping him. I know that's a thing in this whole show with Gary, Jerry, Larry. Like, he gets beat up, but I felt so bad for him that he didn't get to read his heartfelt letter.
I know. That was so sad.
Yeah.
He had this moment.
If they had let him read it, I'd have been like, what show is this?
It would have been weird.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear it, though. It sounded like it was going to be so good. I probably would have teared up.
Yeah.
Number 4.
We're also emotional about this show in the last half of the season.
It's going to be super emotional next week.
I mean,
Yeah.
even as
man.
we're watching it, they're wishing, they're doing Andy's farewell episode, and while we're watching, we're like, oh my gosh, it's over in a week.
Yeah.
It was
I know.
it was the Johnny Karate series finale, and now it's about to be the real
finale.
Yeah. I loved all those flashbacks of Andy.
Yeah.
Though. I thought that was great to see, his how he progressed through life and growing up and stuff.
They quite literally took us through his entire character arc in this episode. It was really cool.
Yeah, and that was part of number 4, which was try something new with Leslie Knope, and the new thing was being brave. So she was going to be the host of the show and took us through his life to see those beautiful moments. We got a lot of sponsors and commercials throughout this entire thing, which I think were hilarious. We had trouble figuring out what was
we
real and
missed
what
some.
wasn't.
We were like,
I
wait,
know.
I think that was fake. Hold on, what just happened?
They looked so legit. It was crazy.
And then the one that popped up in the middle of the actual ads, and then
that
went
was the
back
Cones
to
of Dunshire.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about the Cones of Dunshire is at the end of that little fake commercial, it was like now available on Kickstarter. So right away I was like, I gotta see if Cones of Dunshire is really on Kickstarter, and it is. And I found a little article about it. It says Hobby Games giant Mayfair Games, makers of Settlers of Catan, is bringing to life the Cones of Dunshire, the fictional game from the NBC's Parks and Rec, with its first ever Kickstarter campaign. It already has maybe like $35,000.
Yeah, I was reading it. It has nearly $36,000 raised of a goal of $125,000, and they only have 22 days left. So I mean, if people want to see Cones of Dunshire into a real game, get on Kickstarter.
I would love to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, it says the game may be so large that it might actually need to be shipped in a wooden crate. So this is going to be a very expensive board game.
I want to see this happen.
Yeah, me too. I think most of the fans of the show are probably going to see it happen too. I wouldn't
let's
be
do
surprised.
it, guys.
Good
Get
for
on
people for
Kickstarter.
donating to this, though. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
All 124 of you for backing it. Great job.
maybe a couple more after they watch this AfterBuzz. Donate to Cones of Dunshire.
We're not sponsored by Cones of Dunshire.
We aren't, but we really want to see this happen. So please.
And send us a picture, please.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody actually gets this game, could you imagine?
Tweet us a picture with the hashtag ABTV Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yep.
And another couple things that we saw with the commercials was Ken Hotante. He came back for the Wamapoke Casino. We saw Paunchburger. We saw my favorite one was Ron.
Disgusting commercial.
Paunchburger was disgusting. I thought it was a Carl Jr.'s outfit.
Yeah, we all thought it was
I
real.
know,
We're
I
like,
know.
whoa, yeah, fast forward. And then like, wait a second.
This cheese like on top of all this like chili.
Pawnee
and stuff.
loves their
gross.
Paunchburger though.
Yeah, it's true.
My favorite one was Ron. That was the best commercial.
Oh, so funny.
He said something for 5 seconds in the rest of the
He's
spot.
like, hire us for your building. Or don't. I'm not a beggar.
25
And then
seconds of
just
silence.
waits out the rest of the commercial.
It was really good. We also saw Verizon, Chipotle, Exxon commercial.
Yeah.
That was so funny. And that one we really didn't realize was a real, because it looked like a car commercial, and at first I thought maybe it was like a Grizzle thing, and then it ended up being this huge conglomerate,
Which
crazy
is funny
mashup thing.
throughout the season so far and past seasons, they do a lot of social commentary on things, and all these little spoofy commercials are pretty much additional commentary. And with that one specifically, they're talking about the merger of these 3 giant companies that pretty much control everything in the world, essentially. And they're like, one of America's 8 companies, which is, not to say that that's what's going to happen, but it is they are poking fun at the way things are.
I definitely think they hit the nail on the
Yeah.
proverbial head there. It was pretty funny.
I love that about this show. And after we go through Andy's life, we come back to this initial thing about the guitar being stolen, and we have to solve this mystery. And did you guys expect that John Cena was going to be...
No,
That was the most
random
Cameo. So weird.
What did you think when you saw him?
I was super surprised. Is there any sort of back history that we're missing? Is somebody a big fan of John Cena's on
Maybe
the show?
he was a big fan of the show. Like, I feel like if someone wanted to be on the show badly enough, since it's this season, last season, that they're just like, come one, come all.
Right, yeah. It was so random, but so fun.
And he was really good. He did a great job. It wasn't awkward or weird. It was just like he was very silly and kind of played along really well.
Yeah, and Andy cuffing him was hilarious because he had the little police badge. I thought that was good. Number 5 was being nice to someone, and he ended up being nice to April. I mentioned it a little bit earlier because April, throughout this whole episode, we kept seeing her be really sad when he was talking about this is his best job he's ever had, and he's moving, and he's going to, miss it. And I didn't know what April would do. Like, I thought for a second she might not take the job in Washington.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It was heading in that direction. You could definitely tell that she was feeling really, really guilty. And so I'm happy that we got to have like a little bit of closure and just kind of like this moment of like, we're okay with moving. It's all gonna be fine, because I think she was kind of teetering on the edge of that for a little while.
I don't know about you guys, but if I didn't have that moment too, I would be teetering still.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm really happy we got to have that moment of like, okay, it's all
It was very realistic in a very unrealistic episode.
Yeah, it's cool because I didn't actually even really realize that I was feeling so uneasy about it until we got to that moment. And I was like, okay, good. I'm really glad that we got that out of the way.
Yes, and then we had the goodbye song as well, which was cute. But I'm sad about this whole show ending. Andy's dreams, but it's a good thing. Everybody's moving on, bigger and better things, and we see John Cena having to be dunked in this tank with, like we talked about earlier, the spider just hanging out on the outside. We found him.
Well, and I also love the guest appearance from Sir Edgar Covington from London with Andy and Ben getting knighted. I thought that was so funny, and
like,
especially Ben's reaction.
He was like the best thing that's ever happened to him. It was so wonderful. They're like, you can knight people? He's like, I have a lot of money. I can do whatever I want. Okay.
And Ben afterwards was like, he's like, oh my gosh, who am I?
Fantastic.
And Andy corrects Leslie when she's talking about his life. He's like, sir, it's Sir Andrew Dwyer. Yeah.
And I guess Sir Ben, too.
Yeah, Sir Ben now.
So do you have anything to say about this last episode, or should we move on?
I'm just happy that they got to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it seemed like a fun episode for the writers and
for the actors, for pretty much everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah. So I'm happy that we kind of got our little musical kind of one-off of
the silly episode.
Yeah, the silly episode. And it was it ever?
It was good.
And I want to thank the executive producers for putting Chris Pratt in a suit.
In a tuxedo. Hi, how are you?
You looked good. Now, season 7, episode 11 was 2 funerals. I didn't know what to expect with this. I was nervous for who was going to die.
I thought it was going to be metaphorical.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there may be like one real death and one death
not actual deaths, like death of their lives in Pawnee or something.
Some storyline.
But it was kind of like that too. Obviously we had the literal ones, but then the metaphorical ones with people moving away. So there were a few of those sad moments that are kind of like Leslie was super concerned with needing a new beginning because so many things were coming to an end. The entire episode, she's like, I need something to start, and that's why she was so adamant about Tom proposing to Lucy.
Right, because we start out the episode with bad things happening in Leslie's eyes because everybody's moving. Donna, she's just closed on a house in Seattle.
Okay.
And
Bye.
April and Andy are moving to Washington. Wait, why? Do you want to see?
That's so heartless.
I was just like, it was just like sad. It just like wasn't. It was just weird. Like,
just
was she? Were
deal with her feelings.
Were we expecting her to leave? All of a sudden, she's just like, oh, we're leaving. And I was like,
so sudden.
Apparently she's leaving. No, not heartless. Just kind of out of nowhere.
And then Gary's retiring, but they don't consider that one of the three. It's just Leslie and Ben, April and Andy, and Donna.
Yeah, they're like, it happens in threes. Shut up, Gary.
I don't want this to happen. I just want them to all be in the same city, and I want it to end that way. But it looks like it's going in a different direction, which is fine. So Perd happily comes on the TV and says that Mayor Gunderson has died.
Which I love that we've gone through the entire series of never seeing the mayor.
Not once.
Yeah, and we finally get to see him.
Yeah.
We finally get to see him, and it's Bill Murray.
What?
Hallelujah.
One of the best cameos.
Yeah. So good.
He's a dead guy in a coffin, and then he has a little video, a farewell video to them, which is pretty much just like, so this job was pretty easy. I didn't pay attention a whole lot, and if there are things to take credit for, I did it. If there are things to blame someone for, it's your fault.
Yeah, right.
See ya.
You know what I loved the entire time was when he was laying in the coffin, he had like this little
Smile.
grin on his face.
He's funny
creepy
even when he's
grin.
laying there doing nothing.
Yeah.
It would cut to him almost like he was alive, like he was like spiking the lens or something. It would like cut back to him, and it was just like funny, and he's not doing anything.
So, and right away, Ben says that he has to appoint a new mayor for the next 2 months, an interim mayor until we have another election. And April says that he should do it. What were your guys' reactions? Did you think that he was going to take it eventually or right away, or what did you guys think when she asked him?
I almost thought he was maybe going to go to Leslie and see if she wanted to take it instead of moving, but we know that job in D.C. for her is a huge thing, so I didn't totally see that happening, but thought that, he'd propose it to her maybe in some way.
I, for like a split second, thought he might be like, April, you should take this mayor job. I mean, I know that's crazy now, but at the time I was like, is that what he's trying to get happen? Because like that'd be the worst idea.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that he would give it to Leslie, and then she would decide to stay, and in the series finale they would do flash forwards, and she would be like the governor of Indiana or something, and progressing up the ladder.
Yeah, I could see. That would have been totally believable.
I thought Ben was going to take it.
I did. As the episode went on, I definitely thought he was going to just take it.
Yeah, because for the rest of the episode, we see them going through these candidates, and
so
their
good.
first one was Bobby Newport, who can't even remember what he ran for against Leslie Knope, which I thought was hilarious.
It's good. He's so dumb, but gosh, is he charming. Like, I would vote for him. He's so awesome.
Paul Rudd.
And he's so positive all the time.
And I love when April was like, and I'm Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, I know. That was
like,
actually one of her funniest kind of like little jabs that she's had in a while, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I was the first person on space, actually.
He was like, this is the guy from Buzz Lightyear. Yeah.
Toy Story. Buzz Lightyear.
And then they also talked to Joan Calamezzo about doing it. All these people say they can't, though. Like, he's going to space. Joan is
27.
She's
not old enough.
She's not old enough because you have to be 30.
Yeah.
You gotta admire her persistence on that.
The douche was a good candidate for a little bit until he started not being a good candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to call the mayoral office my oral office.
Yeah.
And then we have Mona Lisa come in, and we see Dr. Saperstein, and all these people, and April tells Ben to do it. So he's going to sign the notary. Gary's there. He's about to notarize it, and then Ben says, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and Gary is so excited just to be there to notarize the next mayor. He's like, oh my gosh, this is a huge opportunity. History is being made.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because Ben was really excited about taking on the mayor role because he thought this was going to be a way for him to make up for Icetown, and he was going to be able to finally put that behind him, and he was going to be able to be mayor and do something good and leave behind a legacy.
That's why I thought he was going to take it.
Yeah, I thought it made actually a lot of sense, and at the end he's like, you know what, no, Icetown made me who I am. I don't want to forget about it.
I think that I'm happier with this decision, though, because Gary can have something for the books, okay?
Yeah, finally.
I'm so happy for
Totally
him,
agree.
and that whole ending celebration for him was the cutest thing. The hot air balloon, we all thought something was going to go wrong.
I know. People didn't.
That was so sweet, though, that Leslie did that for him. I think we all kind of sat there and we were like, oh.
Yeah. Well, it was the celebration for Tom and Lucy that she just like repurposed for
Right.
Gary. So it was
very
so
resourceful,
sweet though.
Leslie, as always.
In this episode, too, we also have Andy, Donna, and Ron on a mission because Ron finds out at the mayor's funeral that his barber has died.
Which is our second death. Our second
Which
literal
was the
death.
second funeral that they actually attended. And Ron talks about the three most important people are your barber, your butcher, and your lover. It's so sweet seeing Ron get emotional over this. And I just love how he connects with these people because they don't even talk at all.
Yeah. He's like, I sit there, he asks me the same questions, which are none, and he gives me the same exact haircut every week.
It's another kind of little chapter being closed about, Ron has always been so abstinent about, not wanting abstinent? That's not the word I meant. He's been really adamant about not wanting things to change. Abstinence.
Oh dear.
He's been really, he's been, he just likes things the way he likes them, and we're kind of having a lot of things kind of ebb and flow here at the end of the season. So here again, one more thing, changing.
And there's even a whole conversation. Oh dear. There's even a whole conversation about how he doesn't like change, and we get a cameo again from Ron Dunn is the character, the hippie guy. Sam Elliott plays him. If you like westerns from Tombstone. So that was fun to see their banter back and forth.
But in the end, I love that Donna, once again, she's just solving everything. She brings Ron to her hairstyle artist, and they actually connect, and they get along with their hate of Europe.
Yeah, typhoon.
Eurotrash.
Yeah, he says Eurotrash, and then Ron's like, what was that term? I love it. Tell me more.
That's what he's I love it.
Yeah, he's like, I love that term you just
exactly
used. Talk to me, Typhoon.
But you're right. It's crazy. Donna has been like this little miracle worker.
Yeah.
She keeps just kind of coming in and saving the day.
I love Donna. We also have a huge part of this episode being the proposal because that's the happy moment. That's the thing that you were talking about that Leslie wants to see, something good happen. With all this, change, people moving, this is the good thing. And Tom has to show Lucy and tell her that he loves her. And so they go through this entire thing to plan this elaborate proposal, which was hilarious. Especially in the jewelry store.
Yeah.
Seeing John Ralphio get shoved into that glass case.
That was so funny.
I was so excited to see John Ralphio.
I know. We got to see everybody that we've been missing, all in kind of one nice little package.
And
minus 2 people.
-2.
Yeah. We'll see
Minus
next
2.
week.
Ooh, who are those
Three.
two?
Baby. Oh, the baby.
Right.
And we need to see Diane too, right?
Yeah.
I don't care as much about Diane, though. I just want to see Anne.
Well, in the very end, Tom switches up the whole plan of the proposal, and he says to Leslie, bring these 3 things and meet me at the Snake Hole Lounge. And right away, I was like, that's where they met. It has to happen here. I was so excited about that.
I almost thought that maybe he was going to say, we don't have to be, we don't have to get, married yet. I thought maybe he would have just decided, to take her back there and just be like, let's just enjoy now. But proposal works too, I guess.
I thought that moment when Lucy got off the plane and Tom decided to change his mind about how he was going to propose was him coming full circle in his maturity. Because the action movie thing was very season 1 Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
And Snake Hole is very now he's mature.
Yeah, and it's that action proposal is very much about Tom, which
All
most
the
of his
flash.
actions are, and then he switches to doing a more intimate thing that's about them and their relationship.
Which was
Exactly.
beautiful because the pancakes are what they had on their first date at JJ's Diner, and he gave her the daisy on their first date. And the card trick, he tried to do this card trick, we learned on his first date, didn't work out. Did you guys know what was going to happen about how he asked when you saw that?
I knew something. I didn't know if maybe there was going to be a string attached to a ring or something when she pulled it out, or he was going to do some fancy trick and then have the ring, but I knew something was up.
Yeah.
I'm not good at card tricks, so I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, I know. I was like, let's see him bomb this one.
Yeah. Well, she almost chose the wrong card.
Yeah.
Said, move a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
I think that was so cute. I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy we went the more, kind of from the heart way.
Right.
It was definitely the way to go. It's really sweet.
Yes, and next week we have the finale of this entire series, and I definitely think we're going to see Anne and Chris. We've been waiting. So,
do we think it's going to be one super episode or kind of 2 segmented episodes?
I think two,
two.
because there's 13 episodes, so we'll see 12 and 13.
Yeah.
But it might be a to be continued kind of very, very
it'll
seamless transition.
Like the first 2 episodes.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I'm so sad that it's lasting. I mean, it lasted so short, but it's over next week. But where can people find you guys on Twitter to talk to you throughout the week?
You guys, please tweet me. I'm not ready for it to be over. So you can tweet me at Quinn Scillian. That's SCILLIAN. You can find me on Vine at the Quinn B or on Instagram at Quinstagram.
And you can find me on all social media at Lauren Salaun. That's SALAUN. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it.
You can find me on all social media at Lexie Hammesfahr.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie E. Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's. And Instagram at Katie Campbell 13. Tweet us. Tell us what you thought of tonight's episodes. Tell us about how sad you guys are about next week being the final 2 episodes. Use the hashtag ABTV Parks and Rec, and we will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.